Witness one here. So just got a download from the Lord on this matrix thing for everybody. I label it divine systems of protocol. Lord said, keep the commandments and navigate through the matrix. And the tests are set up to test your knowledge of scripture and if you will follow divine protocol. Pass or fail. Pass and move through harder tests and advance in your walk, knowledge, and growth. Fail or stay stuck repeating the same tests over and over, ultimately going nowhere. The matrix is designed for your growth. So, everything's set up in this matrix. Everything. The seasons, spring, summer, fall, winter. See, get it? Year after year, the same things. The ants, they come up and pick up the scrap food that I have. All of them hive mind mentality. The bees, everything, nature, this whole matrix is set up the same way. So the people who are still plugged in, they got, I figured four things that are always on their mind. Sex, money, having fun, luxuries, and work, making money. Okay? So that's where they're at. Us getting, going through what we're going through is all a test from the Lord to build your spiritual muscles. Get what I'm saying? It sucks. It totally does. But you want to be Kobe? Kobe was always practicing. Jordan was always practicing. You got to put the work in. Otherwise, you're not going to move forward. And, that's where we're at with it. They're all going to be against you. Everything's going to be set against you, especially with this gang stalking simulation, this AI program. See, it's all set up. The whole thing is a program. Like I was telling you, spring, summer, fall, winter, even the seasons, even nature is all set up in this program. Get it? And so the alphabet boys, they know this. They know all these things, all this timing and all this stuff. That's how they got everything under surveillance and everything. Everybody's under this surveillance stuff. Like I said, we live in a Nazi Germany, a nowadays Nazi Germany. And these guys are relentless. They want this thing to keep moving the same way. But people are starting to wake up. Nobody's living a traditional life anymore. They can't afford it. People are trying everything. I was just looking on some of these ads and stuff, and people are trying anything to make money, to keep going. And so the system's going to fail. And then where are all these people going to be? Where are they going to be? Desperate. Famine mode. There's a famine coming. And they're just keeping this thing propped up. But the fact of the matter is it can't keep itself propped up anymore. And things are going to get bad, you guys, It's going to get bad out here for those other folks. And that's what's only going to really open their eyes up. All these gang stalkers and stuff, they're doing that stuff out of desperation for some Section 8 housing, for some food stamps, for some of this, some of that. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna keep doing it. But the funny thing is all these fools, if they're chipped, we all are. You know what I'm saying? So when you get unplugged for a long time, you have to fight those thoughts in your head. It's all about your thoughts. That's why God said to take every thought into captivity. If it doesn't line up with scripture, it probably ain't gonna be a thought from the Lord. Get what I'm saying? I just read you the divine systems of protocol. Keep the commandments. Navigate through the matrix. The tests are set up to test your knowledge of the scripture. And if you will follow divine protocol, pass or fail. Pass, move to harder tests, and advance in your walk, knowledge, and growth. Fail, stay stuck repeating the same things over and over, ultimately going nowhere. The matrix is designed for your growth. So that was the word. This should help some of you guys. And, you know, for me personally, man, it's just, it's on levels I just can't even believe. I see some of these other guys, I keep up with them online about the gang stalking and stuff, and they're on the same levels, you know, but they're not seeing it. They're seeing it all as a spiritual thing, and it is a spiritual thing, but there's a balance, you know, like Jesus was fully God, but he was man. There's a balance there. You know what I'm saying? So we're supposed to be like him when we pass from time to eternity. So same thing with this tech and the spiritual end of things. Me personally, if I hadn't come up to these woods, I would have not found that balance between the tech, because I needed to learn more about the tech thing and what they're doing to everybody through the food and through the mind control and the neuro monitoring and all that stuff and the portals. You understand? The portals, where all these people are going missing at the national parks. The government's all involved in that. They're blaming dog men and Bigfoot and all that stuff. That's all a sacrifice and blood sacrificing and altars and stuff. See, it talks a lot in the Bible about altars, but you can't talk about nobody about no altar today except a church. Get what I'm saying? And you got to look at all those places over in Israel where all those things happen. That wicked Catholic Church has built altars and shrines over the top of where even the Muslims on the Temple Mount built that mosque there, and it's the most famous mosque ever. They're trying to cover up all those altars. Satan has covered up everything that God has set altar through our forefathers and stuff. So we need to start building altars to God ourselves. I built the altar in the woods before, and I'm gonna build another one to the Lord. You know, because that's what they're doing. All them guys, they got altars in their workplaces. You're fighting that's when you go to work. You're fighting against demonic activity that they've set up secretly or knowingly in your workplace. That's why you can't stay employed and everything, because you're fighting demonic altars everywhere you go. Look at all these crazy churches that are on every street corner. Every one of them's got an altar built in it. You know what I'm saying? And they have whole crews and people who come in that go to that church that will come in there and pray against you. You know what I'm saying? And they'll come in by the hundreds on you. I went to the Catholic Church one time and prayed against them fools through the Catholic Church. I used to go outside the Catholic Church in Missoula and pray on them clowns. You know what they would do? They would run out of the buildings. Yep, I would do spiritual warfare on their property, and they would run out of the buildings. So that's what the power you got. Yeah, it might look like you're down now and you're running for your life or whatever, but the fact of the matter is that's if you get right with God and get yourself in meeting all the God's conditions, like I was telling you about meeting conditions, you will be just fine. If you're sinning, it ain't gonna work. You're gonna come out at a loss every time. You gotta, if you're holding on to those things of the past and going back to the same places and all that stuff, it just, you know, it's not going to work, because God gets you out of the land of familiar. So whatever it takes to get yourself right with God, and then you'll start winning. So that's where it's all at today. And I just, I've been trying to put out videos, but I've been going through my own stuff, so I'll get them out as I can. So I love you guys. Bless you. Have a good one.